And it's going to happen so soon that it's kind of scary. Okay. Some of the big thought leaders in the AI world conservatively estimate that 85 million jobs are going to evaporate by 2025. Oh, we are back. And we're still talking about some AI. So let's dive in. The AI takeover. Are you going to be Blockbuster or are you going to be Netflix? All right. So I'm going to dive into a quick story here about an insurance agent I know has an agency out in Colorado and just closed a big client. His team had a big day, closed somebody that was about $6,000, $7,000 in premium. They call back the next week and start talking to the sales agent saying, hey, I know I signed up, but I just came across this AI powered insurance platform and it promises that I can get better rates based off of how I'm gonna drive, not based on how I did drive. And the thought is this the beginning of the end for the agency, right? Well, let me tell you, my friend, the answer is no. Well, the answer actually is probably, or it can be no. Now, is it the beginning of the end for some agents? 100%, 100%. But it doesn't have to be, right? The key is to embracing AI. AI is very, very critical. I know that you may have just rolled your eyes. Throughout history, throughout time, there's been several very key movers of our civilization that have occurred. This is one of them, right? Significant things that have made a huge impact and affected our daily life and changed everything. The internet, I can definitely remember when the internet came out, I was so stoked. I mean, I was like, holy crap, this is what they've been talking about, or this is the future, right? And this is like, back then, having a computer wasn't as important, right? But the internet put the computers on everybody's desk. So what is AI gonna do, right? What things are AI going to do? One thing that we know for certain that it's going to cause is job losses. It's going to replace a lot of people, okay? If you haven't gotten down and dirty into the world of AI, I'm hopeful that I could shed a little light on it for you. But by the end of this, you're going to have some great information on what it is, how to use it, and why it's so important. So you got to stick with me on this one. But this stat is the one that freaks me out, okay? Because it has really far-reaching consequences and nobody's immune to it. This will affect every single person in the country, okay? It's such a big number and it's gonna happen so soon that it's kind of scary, okay? Some of the big thought leaders in the AI world conservatively estimate that 85 million jobs are going to evaporate by 2025. Now, this isn't something I'm making up to shock everybody. This isn't something that, and it's not something that's secret. This is something that is talked about, and they're saying a conservative number. Now, I sure hope that I misheard that, because I can guarantee that insurance agencies aren't going to be immune. But here's the thing. This is one thing I'm certain of, is that the agencies that thrive in the new world, that embrace the power of AI and don't fight against it, are going to succeed and are going to thrive. Now, I've been elbows deep for well over a year, and we've been using automations and all kinds of things like that in our agencies and for other businesses for years. So making the leap was more of finally it's here for me. Kind of like for NVIDIA. If you're not familiar with NVIDIA, it's what's driving, it's the hardware behind everything, right? The AI requires a massive amount of processing power. And so there's these farms filled with NVIDIA processors just to run these things. So what are they running? What is it? Well, it's called an LLM, okay? So if you haven't heard the term LLM, you may find it interesting to know. It stands for large language model. What do these tools do? What the heck is a LLM? Where can I find them? Well, think about this. It's the brain behind automation, okay? So if you could think back to chatbots from a year ago, or even from a month ago to when they came out, chatbots. You go to a website, a little thing pops up. It says, hey, I'm Zappy the app chat. And then you get to pick between 5 things. Not the thing that you need is not amongst the list of the 5 things. So you have to pick the thing that's closest, which isn't even close, blah, 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 right? So those were not AI driven. Those were just logic. It was hard-coded logic. So what would happen is somebody goes in and just basically programs this thing, right? They program the bot to, if it does this, then this, and you only give them this choice, and it's a flow chart. So very simple, very annoying to interact with because it had no personality, or it has fake personality that is the same every time, okay? So it has no learning skills, has no ability to adapt, has no ability to think on the fly, has no ability to execute anything really beyond those instructions that's there. Okay, so now introduce what's just recently come out, and we're talking over the last year. Okay, so over the last year, if you got on ChatGPT at the very, very beginning, then you're more familiar with it and the changes that have happened. But over the last year, it's insane how much faster, how much better, and how much more knowledgeable, and how much more can be done by one of these assistants. Now they call them, right? A chatbot assistant. And anybody can make these things. So it's really good. Now, we're not going to go very deep into that. We're going to stay high level on this one. But let's talk about some success stories, okay? I think that before we dive in, we get into the nitty gritty of it. There's a billion use cases, even in your agency, that don't need to be client facing. So you can help by installing a lot of things that have nothing to do with the actual inner workings or mechanisms of the agency and aren't necessarily holding any information on the client outside of the system. If you buy a lead, I don't know. I think that there's a line there, right? Because if I paid for that data, then I own that data. All right, so let's look at these real world examples. I have one agency that I've talked to have used these for a multitude of different things, but one agency was struggling with high volume of inquiries. So they were a larger agency. I think it was like 15 million at premium, and they have a lot of inbound calls, but they were running pretty lean. We have we're at 12 million and we've got less sales or less service people than most $12 million agencies because we have a lot of automation in place to pick up that slack, because it's a lot less expensive to handle some of the stuff that can be automated away than it is to bring somebody on, right? If we're going to bring somebody on for a job that is going to cost me $50K to have that person here, then I better get some kind of return on it, right? Now, I could build something for myself, create some automation to replace somebody that would be doing the 50,000 a year. And guess what? In addition to that, that person or that entity is never going to call in sick, is never going to cause any drama, is never going to do anything that I find annoying. It will play better than most people, right? Now, it has to be directed, but again, so do people. So pretty interesting, right? What happened? So before they put this thing in place, people were getting voicemails. People were not getting calls back. They're getting pretty pissed. So I just said, hey, man, why don't you just put something in place that handles the traffic just to let them know? Like, it doesn't need to even be the voicemail, just something like,
hey, everybody's on the phone. We'll get back to you ASAP.
And then put that reminder somewhere so that somebody knows how to do it. We pretty much set the same thing up over here so that no calls are run into voicemail, no calls are just disappearing, because depending on your carrier, there could be strange phone systems and strange voicemail systems in the background where nobody knows where they go. So what does it do? What were the big improvements? We got our response time is way quicker, right? I'm not getting complaints, and he's able to get more Google reviews as a result. He created an automation that asks for Google reviews, sends them directly there, and used one of our tricks that we've talked about before, which is you could set it up where you have a like a dummy landing page, and you ask people what they would rate it. If they click a 1, 2, or 3, you just send them to the thank you page and say, thank you for your thing. Is there anything we could do to make it a 4 or 5 or to get you to a 5? And then if they're a 4 or 5, it will kick them over to the Google page where then they're going to leave the real review. So it's just a way to filter and make sure that we don't get people putting 1s and 2s and stuff. Here's another one. This isn't even with the agency, but with Teledudes and our marketing campaigns there. And since a lot of folks probably listening have probably been served the ads that we do, all these crazy ads with the AI pictures, we had something happen with the content provider or the host of our site. What happened as a result from that, they did something with the code that wasn't us. It was on their side, but it killed traffic. Like all of a sudden, we went from we have ads, we have 500 to 1,000 hits coming in a day to almost non-existent, just organic traffic. Well, like 100 a day. So we were scrambling, trying to figure out what to do because we have ads running, right? People clicking, no traffic. That's a problem, right? So I took an AI assistant, I gave it all of the code from the web page, which is probably more than most agents are going to do for stuff, but it's important to understand like the depth of what it can do. So I had to analyze the code. It kicked me back a message saying that there were bugs in that code. That was not my code. That was ClickFunnels code. So basically the site had done something, had wigged out, and what we did was we were able to basically reconstruct the site, put it on a different platform, and get it up and running again. And now we have it in there analyzing our stats weekly to tell us what we should change, because it could also look at where people are going on the site, all that kind of stuff. So I know I went a little too far in the weeds there, but it's real important to understand that you can put it on things that it understands and it's been trained on. And it's been trained on a lot of things, right? Like it's been trained on basically everything, at least at a high level. And it's going to understand. And if it doesn't understand or it gives you a weird answer, you continue to ask for clarification, right? I usually ask for clarification even if I get a good answer, because you never know. It can sound pretty convincing with a completely wrong answer, which is really interesting. So that problem solved less than a day. The old way, I mean, we could have been down for weeks, but it increased our conversions. So as you folks are going from an ad to offer.theidudes.com, we had a 40% increase in purchases on Internet Lead Secrets just by fixing the code. And then it also gave, throughout doing a number of split tests, it kept giving us recommendations on which one to go with, or which headline to change, or which button to change color. So really crazy stuff. Really, really deep, interesting stuff. Oh, and even on the back. So if anybody that has got that before, right? Anybody that's actually gotten Internet Lead Secrets, you know that the second page has a script, and it analyzed the traffic on that and also improved that, which it should be 100% take rate, because that's a no-brainer. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and folks are skeptical, but that has been very effective. And you can use it for so many things, right? You can have it help you craft emails, have it help you craft copy for websites, have it do anything. So, or anything with writing. But again, you don't ask it to write something for you and then copy and paste, or you will not look good. Be very careful. All right, so I gave you a cheat sheet that has information on how to go on what ChatGPT is, where to go. It has some recommendations on what to do. So on that cheat sheet, it's going to tell you to sign up. I would highly encourage you to pay the $20 a month, get in there, and you're going to be way ahead of most people. Now, remember the title of this episode, Blockbuster or Netflix. I'm telling you, the Blockbusters of the insurance world are not going to have a ChatGPT account. That is a guarantee. And start small, right? Start small, do little projects, but ideally, like this is where agency owner should be working, right? Working in the place that is generating the tools, resources, and information that their team can use, or that they can use to train their team, or that they can use to drive more traffic to their team, right? You get leverage as an agent the more that you can automate, the more that you can delegate, and the more that you can create and eject, right? I'm on here creating information to help you create information to help your team, because that's what I do here. Just ask yourself if meeting with somebody who has $2,000 in premium with you is worth the $150 for the time that you're spending. Is it worth it? Is it generating more, right? Yeah, I upsold them a renter's policy. Great. So you got an extra $10 a year for the hour and a half that you worked. What if that hour was spent on developing a new, unique mechanism that would drive more traffic to your agency? What if that hour was spent making a video that explained to your team how to do something, or explained to your customers how to do something, or building a YouTube channel, or something else that's going to make long-term lasting impact on your agency? And that's where I'm going to leave it. We're going to dive into ChatGPT next time, but make sure you go in the show notes, download the cheat sheet, okay? And we will dive in and go deep. Thank you, and appreciate you listening. Make sure to, if you do want to check out, if you didn't check out the thing I was talking about that we've totally revamped as a result of the tools that are out there, head over to offer.theidudes.com and you can download your copy of Internet Lead Secrets for a very reasonable amount. We put a lot of work into it and it is very helpful. and it's not unfair to ask to be paid for our work. So we appreciate you, and we hope we see you soon. Thank you very much. Oh man, time just got away from me. Let's stop there, and we'll dive into more on this as soon as the next episode comes out. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to go sell lots of insurance. We'll see ya.